Hey everyone, Commander Josh Hawkins here, and welcome back to Hellion, a brand new multiplayer space survival game by Zero Gravity Games, currently in early access and available on Steam. In today's video, I'm going to teach you the basics of navigating your shuttle so you can leave the starting area and begin exploring the Hellion system for other planets, asteroids, modules, bases, and ships. That's right, all these things are out there waiting for you to find. But in order to do this, first you have to learn how to fly. This tutorial video will assume that you've already learned the basics of moving around, equipping your EVA suit, and floating in space using your jetpack. Before you leave the starting station, grab a couple of med packs and a couple of green air filter and pressure regulators if you're lucky enough to have some, and then head over to your ship. Just like everything else in the game, your ship will be in a random state of repair, and before I go anywhere, I always check my systems and upgrade whatever I can using the modules in the cargo bay and from the starting station. On your fusion reactor, check your catalysts, containment field generators, EM field controller, and injectors for anything that needs quick replacing, and make sure that your life support is in decent working condition so you don't have to worry about your air supply. Next, head down to the cargo bay to pick up the replacement parts just to make sure everything is up and running. I usually take this opportunity to ditch any junk items in the cargo and replace it with anything I brought over from the starting station, as well as checking the life support in the cargo bay. Head back upstairs, replace the old parts on your fusion reactor, and make sure to turn on both solar panels as well as the ship's capacitor in order to make sure that you've got the power you're going to need to start exploring. Next, you're going to want to head towards the cockpit and check the ship's warp cells and singularity cell detonator. No, the singularity cell detonator is not a bomb. Grab any used warp cells, head back down to the cargo bay, and swap them for any good ones you might have sitting around. Don't forget to close the singularity cell detonator chamber and then head up to the pilot's seat. If you did everything right and your ship is powered up, you'll notice that the FTL indicator is red. Look at the console in front of you and click the FTL button and it will spool up, first turning yellow, then green. Your ship is now set to fly. Clicking the target reticule in the middle of your windshield will give you RCS control over the ship. These controls are identical to using your jetpack in EVA, only with a bit more speed. A is left, D is right, control is down, space is up, and W and S for forwards and backwards. You can also use the mouse to control your RCS if you prefer. Look back down at the nav panel in front of you and click on the nav button to bring up your navigation panel. Clicking on the Home Station button will center your navigation on your home base, and if you're just starting off, this is where you'll be right now. You can scroll in and out using the mouse wheel to get a better view of the surrounding area, which will show you any asteroids orbiting the current planet or moon you're closest to. Hovering the mouse over planets and moons will show you how many objects, mostly asteroids, are orbiting them. Clicking on the Zoom to Parent button at the top of the panel will zoom you out to the planet that you're currently orbiting. And with each additional click, you'll zoom out further until you're eventually on the full system map. From here, you can see all the planets in the Hellion system that you can explore. Keep in mind that traveling to the furthest planets will take a long time, so today we're just going to show you how to get around the local area. There's also a scan button in the top left corner, and you'll use that to locate new modules, ships, and bases, but we'll save that for another tutorial. There are two ways to set a destination in Hellion. The first is by adding a custom orbit around a planet by right-clicking it and choosing Custom Orbit. Here you'll be able to set your own apoapsis, periapsis, and inclination by clicking and dragging the green numbers at the bottom of the nav panel. You can play around with this a little now, but it's only going to be necessary when you use your scanner to look for modules, ships, and stations, which we'll cover in another tutorial. The other way to travel is by right-clicking on an object and selecting Warp Drive. This will bring up the warp screen. Let's take a quick moment to familiarize ourselves with this screen. The left-hand side shows our current warp cells and how much fuel each one has. Beside that is the warp factor, and below that is your power consumption. You can select the number of cells you want to use for any particular warp jump just by clicking right on the cells themselves. This will make more or less fuel available for your jump. The warp speed controls the speed you'll travel, and using more warp cells will consume more fuel. The numbers on the right represent your starting point in time and your arrival point in time. Since all objects in the world of Hellion are constantly moving, you need to tell the navigation computer where you would like to be at the time of arrival, and it will plot the course accordingly. Both the numbers can be controlled by clicking and dragging your mouse up or down for hours, minutes, and seconds. The activation time is how long until your ship will be ready to activate the FTL drive, and the arrival time is when you want to arrive at your destination. If you see acceleration too high at the bottom, it means that you simply cannot arrive at your destination with the current arrival time. In order to fix this, you'll need to adjust your arrival time by lowering it. If you have an arrival time too low, it will say course impossible, and you'll have to increase your arrival time. Once your arrival time is set correctly, your maneuver status will turn green and say the FTL drive is ready. Just click on the Initialize button and exit the nav screen by pressing Tab. You will now have a little red M indicator on your HUD, and you'll need to maneuver the ship to center the M until you see the white box. Do not use the WASD keys for this, just the mouse, otherwise you'll interrupt the maneuver. As soon as the M is centered and turns green, press the Shift key to arrest your movement and watch the countdown timer. As soon as the countdown timer hits 5 seconds, you'll be able to jump. Click the left mouse button and you're on your way. At this point, you're free to move around the ship. The ship will automatically drop out of warp once you arrive at your destination. But remember that this is not a loading screen, and your ship is in fact traveling at tremendous speeds. You can still open airlocks in your cargo bay, but if you step outside and fall outside the warp bubble, you'll be looking at a very long EVA trip home. Congratulations, Commander! You now know how to navigate your ship. Practice flying to different destinations and make sure to come back for the next video where we'll be covering scanning for objects and grappling them back to your base. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button and share it with your friends or community, and don't forget to subscribe. This is Commander Josh Hawkins, signing off.